Yo, what's up, guys? It's Dom, and you're tuning in to Talks with Dom, where we touch on a series of topics that dives into the creator within. Over time, the goal is to help each and every one of you partaking in this transformation to better understand who and where you are on your journey. So let's chop it up, guys. Right? So we're still on purpose, right? Topic of purpose 1.12, right? The Misfit Advantage. What if feeling different was preparation? Man, I could tell a lot of things just about myself of growing up from being younger, maybe around like the age of 9 until now I'm 29, so 20 years span, right, of just going through loops of not being the kid that truly fit in, right? Not being the one that was the most popular, just always was the odd one out of every group, right? Um, uh, were you that one, right? As you're going around and stuff, as you live life and everything, just over the years, right? Would you consider yourself the one that's different from the crowd? Meaning, it's always just been like the odd one out, always been like the misfit. It's always been the one that's just been like different though, just from everybody, and it's like a obvious thing of what people say to you on the day to day, right? We're all on this earth for a reason, right? We're all on this earth to create. We're all on this earth um, to leave something behind, to leave a piece of us on this earth, right? So being afraid to be the person that you are um, is basically just like a slap in the face to yourself, because you're basically saying that you're not valuable enough to have something to leave behind, because people aren't understanding of you, right? You have to understand one thing. If you don't understand, and if you don't leave with anything from this video today, leave with this. It doesn't matter who you are, right? It don't matter um, where you came from. It don't matter what you achieved. It don't matter what you didn't achieve. You got to think, it's always, for every person on this earth, there are at least, I'm saying at least, 1 million people that can relate to everything that happens in your life. So understanding that, if it's 1 million people, even like let's go less than that, right? There are 100 people in the world that can relate to everything that happens in your life that only you can talk about, because these are things, and not saying it like that, not only you can talk about, but meaning like giving you something to talk about because it happens in your life, right? Imagine those 100 people finding your page or finding the stuff that you talk about and would actually like to pay to listen to you, or since they're able to relate to you and you start to drop products that are wrapped around these things that happen to you, explaining and you just being you on a day to day, and they like love to buy products from you, right? And they um, build up to love to buy products from you, right? That can actually happen, right? And just thinking on a scale of 100 people, right? Now let's think on a bigger scale of 1 million people, right? Because that's exactly what it is. It's trillions of people on this earth. For every one of us, it's 1 million people that can truly relate to us, right? So just like being afraid to be you, being afraid to be around people that don't understand you is really like not a problem of yourself. It's really a problem of all the other people that think that that's a bad thing, because that's really a gem within you that gives you edge in this life, because you get to be you, right? And that's on a every day. That's every day, right? I got my own sauce because I get to be me. Nobody can be me better than me because it's me. That's how you should think about it on a day to day, guys. Right? That's how it should be. So it's just more of like you've always thought different. You wanted different things or felt out of place. These things aren't happening for no reason. These things aren't just happening just because it's just you. No, these things are happening because it's a reason why it's happening. You have a particular mission in this world, right? And in order to fulfill that mission, you have to be you. You have to be 1,000% you. Without doing that, you can't truly move in your purpose without truly being you, right? So you trying to find ways to be like someone else, meaning in the way of wanting to be them rather than being yourself, not wanting to be like somebody because they understand how to lock in and be consistent. Now that's a trait that you could get from them. That's different. Wanting to be somebody because they're being them, that's not the point. The point is to be you, guys, for sure. Purpose often requires a perspective that doesn't fit neatly into the crowd, right? You're going to have a different perspective on life because you're the only one that walked your shoes. It's going to continue to come back to that core thing. Each one of these points is really going to come back to that core thing. Um, your perspective is going to be the reason why you're going to have a lot of people that attract to who you are and what you do and what you like and the things that you like to talk about, the things that you've been through. People are going to attract to that. That's the point of all of this, right? We have a different perspective. We're supposed to. That's what makes the world go round and round. That's what make the world so beautiful, right? That's what make the world be up and down. That's just a part of life, right? The very thing you tried to hide may be the thing you're meant to use, guys, for sure, right? That piece of you that you just think that only you like, that only you could truly enjoy. What if that was the particular thing? Like I just seen somebody say on Instagram, how they wanted to try to do something else, like they wanted to make music and stuff, like wanting to make music for the longest just because they seen people doing it. But in all reality, like they just loved to be funny. They love to tell jokes. They love to just be like a comedian in in their own like day to day around their friends, around their peers. And then once they finally like walked into just doing that, like they started to blow up on social media, really started to get like real traction, right? Just from being themselves. So it's just like that can be you too. All that takes is walking into who you are on the day to day. And to be honest, like y'all, that's not hard. You wake up and do that every day. When you walk into your job, you do that on a day to day. When you come home, you do that on a day to day. When you go to grab something to eat, when you go to look at clothes, I'm talking about every instance of who you are. You do that on a day to day. So that's just the easiest thing. Imagine getting paid off of you just being you. Yo, that's dope. That's the dopest for sure. Um, Different isn't always isolation. It can be assignment, right? You may look at you being the odd one out or the black sheep or the one that's apart from the crowd as you just being singled out of things, really not being enough, right? But what if the feeling of being away from the crowd was actually what you were assigned to be, what you were assigned to do, right? um, Learning how to walk into that, that's a pro. That's a pro to each and every one of you that's watching this, right? That may understand it or may not. It's definitely for the people that don't, but for everybody that's watching this, that's a pro, right? Understanding that there's an assignment and understanding that like you can't walk with the crowd all the time, right? we're singled out, we're different for that exact reason. Everybody wants to walk with the crowd and do what the crowd does, and then you start to realize how all of these people that are together, not saying everybody, but just it's certain crowds that are hanging together, and nobody truly understands who they are within themselves. Nobody can truly be themselves. Nobody are just loving the success of being themselves, right? And once you notice that, you start to see why, like, you need to be singled out. Why, like, sometimes you have to go your own way sometimes, right? Because then, like, just say if you were to get directed in that same path of them, right? What you around, it starts to stick to you, right? So being able to be in love with who you are, being able to walk in that path and fulfill that assignment of being you is wealth right there, guys. Excuse me, but being able to walk in that's wealth. That's something that you can pass down, right? That's something that you can really how can I say, like, you can get an award for that, right? You can really be like you can really teach people that, right? Sorry about that, guys. I was I was going out of it for a second. I ain't gonna lie, but but yeah, you can really teach somebody that though, right? That's something that, like, is either you come on this earth and everything like that, or you get around people that understand that about themselves, right? So let that be it for that topic though, guys. The Misfit Advantage, right? Continue to be that. Continue to walk in that, guys. Continue to enjoy the success of being that one that's singled out of the crowd, being different, having a different perspective. You know what I mean? Let's fulfill that assignment of being ourselves, for sure. Until the next one, though, guys.